The Old Woman's Warning, a tale of fear and fate. Emily Carter never believed in ghosts. She had spent her life as a skeptic, rolling her eyes at horror movies and dismissing old legends as mere fairy tales. But that was before she met the old woman. That was before the warning. It all began on a chilly autumn evening when Emily and her two friends, Daniel and Sarah, arrived at Black Hollow, a forgotten town deep in the countryside. They were documentary filmmakers searching for their next big story, one that would catapult them to fame. Their goal? Investigate the infamous Crawford Manor, a decaying mansion abandoned for nearly a century. The locals had warned them. "Don't go there," an old woman at the gas station had whispered, gripping Emily's wrist with surprising strength. Her eyes, clouded with age, held a deep terror. "They don't like visitors." Emily had simply laughed, shaking off the woman's grip. "Who are they?" she had asked mockingly, but the woman's response was nothing but a chilling whisper. "You'll see." The arrival, the trio reached Crawford Manor just as the sun dipped below the horizon. The mansion loomed over them, its once grand architecture now nothing more than a skeleton of rotting wood and shattered windows. Vines curled around the pillars like the fingers of a corpse, and the air smelled of damp earth and decay. Daniel set up the cameras while Sarah checked the audio equipment. Emily, ever the fearless leader, pushed open the massive wooden door, which groaned in protest. Dust swirled in the dying light. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of mildew and something else. Something metallic. Blood? Emily shook off the thought. They had work to do. They explored room after room, their flashlights revealing crumbling wallpaper, antique furniture covered in white sheets, and portraits of long-dead Crawfords staring down at them with hollow eyes. It was the perfect setting for their documentary. But then the whispers began. The voices in the dark. At first, they thought it was just the wind, a low murmur, barely perceptible. But as the night deepened, the voices grew clearer, words spoken in a language none of them recognized. Sarah froze in the middle of a hallway. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. Emily nodded. "It's probably just an echo." Daniel scoffed. "Or a marketing trick. Maybe the locals set this up to scare people away." But the voices didn't stop. They grew louder, closer. Then the door to the library slammed shut behind them. Emily spun around, heart pounding. "Who's there?" No answer, just silence. Sarah reached for the doorknob, but the moment her fingers touched it, something knocked from the other side, 3 sharp raps. Knock, knock, knock. A chill ran down Emily's spine. "Okay, guys, this isn't funny." Daniel raised his camera, recording everything. "If this is a prank, someone's doing a damn good job." The knocking continued, rhythmic and deliberate. Knock, knock, knock. Then the whispering turned into a single clear sentence. "Leave now, or suffer." The lights flickered. A cold wind rushed through the room, even though the windows were shut. And then, the doorknob twisted, from the inside. The presence Emily screamed as the door burst open, revealing nothing but darkness. The hallway beyond was empty, yet the air felt charged with unseen energy. Sarah clutched Emily's arm. "We need to go." But Daniel, ever the skeptic, pushed forward. "No way. This is incredible. We have to capture this." The library was eerily still. The only sound was their ragged breathing. Then Emily noticed something. The books on the shelves were no longer covered in dust. Some were even open, pages turning, as if an invisible hand was flipping through them. A shadow moved in the corner of the room. A figure. It was barely human, too tall, its limbs too thin, its face wrong. Hollow eyes, a mouth stretched into an unnatural grin. Emily's blood turned to ice. The figure whispered again. "You were warned." Then the lights went out. The escape chaos erupted. Sarah screamed. Daniel dropped the camera. Emily grabbed them both and ran. They stumbled through the halls, their flashlights flickering. Doors slammed shut behind them, footsteps echoed from nowhere, and the walls seemed to breathe. Something was chasing them. They reached the front door, but it wouldn't budge. "Help!" Sarah sobbed, pounding on the wood. Then Emily remembered the old woman's warning. She turned, heart hammering. The figure was there, standing at the end of the hallway, grinning. Desperate, Emily shouted, "What do you want?" The figure tilted its head, Then, in a voice that was both human and not, it replied, "A trade." A cold dread filled Emily. A trade for what? It stepped closer. One stays. The others leave. Silence. Sarah clung to Emily. Daniel was shaking. The door creaked open behind them, the night air beckoning. A choice had to be made. Emily looked at her, friends, then at the figure, and she made her decision. The aftermath. The next morning, a local farmer found two people stumbling down the dirt road leading from Crawford Manor, Sarah and Daniel. Their eyes were wild with terror. Their bodies were covered in scratches. They spoke of Emily, how she had turned back, how she had whispered, "Go," how the door had slammed shut behind her. The old woman at the gas station simply nodded when she heard the news. She was warned. And back at Crawford Manor, in the silence of the library, a camera lay abandoned. The last footage recorded showed Emily standing alone in the darkness, staring at something unseen. And then she smiled.